What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you are new to the channel, welcome. This is my shop and I'm gonna do a quick shop tour. I planned this actually, we were shut down the week Christmas to New Year's, and I actually made a video, started editing and realized that I had zero sound and I didn't want to do a voiceover on it. You've heard some of my videos do voiceovers. Kind of works on some stuff it doesn't. This I think I'd rather explain. So let's check out the shop, see what we got. So walking in here, number one thing, this is actually my second forklift. This is a Toyota. It's about a 2000 model, 2001 I think. It's got about 20,000 hours on it. I still paid, I don't know, $5 grand for it, but bought it from a guy locally. Ended up putting new wheels, new tires on it just 2 months ago, maybe the end of 2021. It was about $1,200 for those. I think I've got about 5 in the machine, and I couldn't do without it. There's no way we could operate. We've just got too much stuff, too much heavy stuff. I mean, just these 2 pallets alone you see sitting right here. You know, I don't want to unload and load that by hand as little as possible. So something you definitely got to have. I started out with a Clark. It was about a 3,000 pound machine, and it ended up blowing head gasket. It was a 70s model. Absolutely loved it, man. That thing would turn on a dime. I wish I still had it. I would have 2 of them. I'd have this one and that one, but just wasn't worth fixing the motor on it. I didn't know how to do it myself, and so I let it go to scrap. But got this one, and she does pretty good. Like I said, it's got about 20,000 hours on it. But so starting over here, these tables we actually built. So this one, this is a 6x12 with a 1/2 inch thick plate. And this one doesn't have any holes in it. We have a couple just for some clamps. We used 4x4 square tubing for the legs. We built all of that, put just a piece of 1 inch square tubing across there to hold all our clamps. And then this one over here, this was our second table we built. Need to paint the wall, don't I? This is a 4x10, and this one has about 300 holes in it that we drilled by hand with a mag drill. 5/8 holes, and it uses those clamps right over there. You can get those online. I actually got those pretty reasonable. I need to get some more of them, but we drilled these, basically just laid it out, took chalk line, popped it, made it like a checkerboard grid pattern, and center punched them and drilled them. It took about 2 days, honestly. It was way too long. That was before I got my 5x10 plasma table. Of course, I had my old Torchmate 4x4. So anyway, those actually go together. They are exactly the same height, purposefully done. I'm really tall, so at 6'1", I like having tall tables. I kind of build stuff for me, unfortunately. When I first started, it was just me by myself, maybe a helper or something. And luckily, I've had taller people working here. I did have one girl that was really short. She asked if she could bring her own table, and of course, we just don't have the room for it. So, but they go together, and we can actually make 20-foot long handrails on the table. We actually just did some, if you go back and watch our handicap ramp video, those were 23 feet long, and we did build those on the table. They hang off just a little bit, and we have to just slide them down to put the pickets in. So, let's see. Starting right here, all our welder lineup. We do have 2 others. We've got 2 mobile welders. One's a Lincoln 255 GXT. Kind of came after the Ranger. Great machine. It's got about 800 to 1,000 hours on it, maybe a little bit more. That was actually the first machine I bought before I bought any other welders. I was just doing portable stuff, mobile stuff, whatever. And then I bought, it was a 256. It's not this one. My other 256 got stolen at my last shop. And so I've got the 256 here. But starting it down here, this is the 210 MP, meaning it runs on 110 and 220, and it will also do multi-process, which is TIG, stick, and MIG. We mainly leave this one set up as a stainless machine, so we set it up for TIG and for stainless MIG, and that's usually what it stays. So if we're not doing that, it's usually sitting there. It's just easier to do that, and so that way you're not having to switch wire and all that stuff. So the next one over here beside it to the left, that's the Lincoln 216 machine, strictly a MIG machine, runs on 220. We use that for pretty much just mild steel. Beside that is the Lincoln 256. That one we have the added dual bottle cart because we have a spool gun on it. So same thing as a 216, just a hotter machine. You can run more amps, and you can also run your spool gun. We have a Lincoln, I don't know the model number, spool gun on it. We haven't done any aluminum MIG lately, so I don't even have a tank on there. Last few jobs we've done for aluminum, we actually use this machine right beside it, which is the Lincoln 275 Precision TIG. All three of the machines I just showed you were bought new. This machine here I actually bought used, and it's kind of a cool story. Found it online, Facebook Marketplace I think, or Craigslist one. And it was actually I bought from a girl who did some racing down in Mooresville, North Carolina, and like Concord area, which is race capital of the world. And she actually worked for Stewart Haas Racing. And basically the way it works, they've got a contract either with Miller or Lincoln, and they get new machines, I think she said every year, or it's either every 12 months or every 24 months. And so basically they give the employees first right to buy the stuff if they want it. And she said this one had been sitting in the corner, literally had 0 or hardly any hours on it, just didn't use it. And so she picked it up, but come to find out she didn't have the power or something. She didn't have enough amps, didn't have a big enough breaker, and she said she just didn't use it. So it's been a great machine. It does take I think it's a 100 amp or 105 amp breaker, so we've had to upgrade a couple times because when you start doing high frequency TIG, it draws a lot. So that's those. And then let's see, over here in this box is another little machine. This is actually a Miller. It's the, gosh, I want to say it's the 210, 215. I'm not even going to take it out. It's the same thing, pretty much looks just like the Lincoln, the small Lincoln there. It's a dual process. It'll run on 110, 220, and it'll do stick, TIG, and MIG. We use that one pretty much for installs. That stays in the box or on another little cart over here, and that you can actually see. We just did some rails. If you don't follow us on Instagram, go over and follow us. You'll see a lot of stuff there. More, not daily. We do post some stories, but you'll see a lot more of our actual stuff, like smaller projects we're doing, a lot more of our daily and weekly activities that you won't catch in these videos. So go search Matco Mafia, and that comes from, I don't know, just something we came up with. But we do have Matco Mafia stickers. If you guys want one, shoot me a message, let me know, I can get you one. But like I was saying, this is what we use for installs. We had to weld a couple connections on those rails we just did. It was a residential rail, and so we had to make some connections. But that's mainly what that's used for, and that's about it. And like I said, we've got a Ranger GXT and a Miller Bobcat, which is a propane machine we use inside plants and stuff. So here you've got a Scotchman 50-ton Ironworker. And I'll try to show you a couple things. So it comes with everything you see on it, except for the coping attachment here. It's got a 14-inch shear, it's got a notcher here and a punch here, and it also comes with a angle iron shear. I don't like the angle shear, so I took it off. It's sitting right over here. I just don't like it. It burrs the end up. It wastes a lot of material because it's cutting like a 1/4 inch or more, and honestly I've never used it for anything other than messing around or cutting just random stuff. If we need to cut angle, it gets cut on the saw. This we added. This is a coper. This is what you use for making your pipe, or if you're doing tube chassis, or I don't know, off-road buggies or whatever. This is a great piece to have. I'll show you in a minute what we use to cut angles. This is an addition. The housing, I want to say it's about $500, and then you can also get some different size dies to go in here. So like we've got a set for 1¼ inch pipe, and then we've also got a set for 1½ inch pipe. And that's about it. I've tried a brake. I actually ordered one. They're about, I don't know, $1,000, $1,200. I ordered one, I put it on, and I did not like it at all. It was horrible. I don't know if it's operator error and didn't know what I was doing or what, but it was a small one. It sits right up here. You take this off, sets here, and it kind of works off of this. And just could not get like a repetitive, I I don't know, a repetibility. I don't know if that's a word. I couldn't get repetition. Maybe that's better. I couldn't get repetition on it. It would just randomly bend stuff. I was trying to bend 90-degree pieces out of 3/16, and it would bend it. But like I said, it just wasn't very good at repetition. So that's actually a 3-phase machine. You can get that in single phase as well, single phase 220. That's set up on 3-phase. But so moving along, this is our most recent purchase. We bought this in November, December of 2021. This is one of 3 Bailey machines we own. This is a tube roller, and we bought this in order to do gates and stuff like that. We also did a massive arch last year at a local park. The arch was total 14 feet wide and 12 feet tall in the center. So it'll do square tubing, pipe, tubing, round tubing, angle, and flat bar. And the only thing you have to do is just change these dies. So right now it's set up with dies. That's what comes with it to do tubing, square tubing, flat bar, and then to do anything else you would need to change the dies. So I've got to get a set of pipe dies for it because we'll use it for like 1.25" pipe when we do rails. We've done, I'm not gonna say a lot, but quite a few, like a radius in a sidewalk or something. I'm trying to think of another one we've done, but so you get the picture. But so it's a really good machine. We haven't used it a lot, but I know it's going to get some use. We just quoted an aluminum rail repair job that's going to have about 30 foot of rail right in the middle of it. It's got a radius, so we would have to roll some 2-inch aluminum tubing, which it would do absolutely no problem. So over here to our number 2 of 3 Bailey items. This is, I don't know the actual part number on this thing. So I don't know the actual part number on this. I'm gonna move that shield so you can actually see it. Maybe it's got a number. Let me see. It does not. Probably does, I'm just not looking right spot. So basically what this is what I call a manual coping machine. So basically it goes in the vise and you hook a drill right here on the end of it right there. You just hook a drill to it. It can be a battery operated drill or a corded drill, and that's what we use. You can use it for straight copes, but it's great because I can leave it set up on angles. So I'll hit the Scotchman Ironworker if I'm doing my straights, you know, from like my post or something, or I'll come over here and I'll have this set up. For instance, if you go back and watch our video on the handicap ramp, again, you'll see we did a 5-degree slope. That's what the angle was. It was a 5-degree angle going down the handicap ramp. So all of our copes had to be 5 degrees. So I was able to set this up at a 5-degree angle, and it was able to just sit there. I'd hook my drill up, and I'll just come over here once I got my pieces cut on the angle and actually process them and go through the whole thing over here. So it's nice to have both of them because you can do straights, get this set up. It'll do up to 60 degrees, I believe. So the next piece here right beside it, this is a Tensmith, Tennnsmith. These they've been around a long time. They still make new products, make really good equipment. This is a power feed roller, power roller. It's a 48-inch, and it will do, I think it's rated at 16 gauge. And it'll do more, of course, just in smaller sections. So you could do probably a foot or more of 1/8. I don't think I've done much over that. I might have rolled like a little piece of 2-inch wide 3/16 flat bar or something. And it's also got notches over on the right side there. It's got notches for rolling round stock. So it'll do, I think it's 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4, I believe is what it is. It's got the little notches for that. So great machine. I actually picked this up, not at an auction. There was a local plant that shut down, and they had a demo company come in out of Tennessee or Kentucky, and they just called me and said, hey, we got some equipment here. Would you be interested? So I went over and looked at it, ended up getting this and quite a few other things, and come out pretty good. I don't have much. Once I got the other stuff that I bought in a package deal, I turned around and flipped it, sold it, and I don't have much in this at all. So kind of what I like to do. If I can find deals, I like to wheel and deal. But guy that used to work here, Steven, actually showed me some cool stuff on this the other day. I've done transitions before, but I always had somebody else step break them or roll them. He actually rolled I think it was a 6 to an 8. I cut it. I drew it out on SolidWorks and cut it for him, and he actually showed me how you can actually roll it on this. It's kind of tricky. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but if you got to do it, it'll actually work. So, and if you want a vise stand, you can go back and look at my video we did recently. That's a brake drum off a dump truck on the bottom, so it's super heavy. Then we took some 8-inch pipe, I believe that is, and made the stand, put a piece of 1/2-inch flat bar on it, bolted the vise to it, and you're ready to go. Good little video. It's something you can do at home for you DIY guys. The number 3 Bailey machine is this, I think it's RDB 250. This is the second one we had. The first one we had was the, I want to say it was the RDB 125. And basically the RDB 125 it's a hydraulic over electric, I think. Great machine. I bought it used and it worked. I just needed something that would, I guess, speed things up. The way that works, it's got like a notch system. So you would basically crank it around 15 degrees or so, then you'd have to reset it and go another 15 or 20, whatever it was. So to do a 90-degree bend, I'd have to run it 3 times. It was just kind of slow. Worked great for us, and I would not talk badly about it. Actually sold it, got everything I paid for it used. I think I paid probably $2,500 and actually sold it with no dies or anything for the same thing I bought it for. So this one here, it's RDB 250. This also has a big table that comes out on the side. I don't have it up there on here because I don't have the room for it. As we started getting more and more stuff and busier, I just had to take it. It's actually up on top of the tool room here now. Once I get a bigger shop, it'll go back on it because you're able to put a 20-foot piece in, feed it in, make multiple bends. It's not CNC. It won't feed it for you, but you can mark it, feed it. You can program the machine, and so you can preset stuff. So you basically just feed it, hit a button. It'll actually go through the bends and stuff for you. So it's pretty cool. It's a really good, really good machine. It's definitely made us some money, and that's exactly what we want. It's by far paid for itself. I think I've had it 3 to 4 years somewhere. I think I bought it in like 19-ish. I think that's right, 19. So I've had it at least 2 or 3 years. So as you guys know, I am a Hypertherm fanatic. You see here I've got the Hypertherm 65. This I actually just picked up the end of the year, 2021, and the reason is because the one we had, so I've got 3 Hypertherm machines. We've got the, I always forget, I think it's the 35 air. It's got the little air compressor with it, so all you do is hook it up to, I think that's actually dual power as well, 110 or 220, and it's already got the air compressor in it, so it doesn't cut very thick. It's probably rated up to like 1/8 or so, maybe 3/16. We don't use it a lot. We bought it for doing on-site stuff, and we've got this 65 here. This replaced the one that was on my Torchmate. Reason being is because when Torchmate, the older machine that I had, you actually had to hardwire, you had to take the cover off the Power Max, hardwire into it, and I just didn't want somebody to have to go through that. So I just sold it with it, included that in the price, and I knew that I was going to replace it. So I got my money back for it and just bought a brand new machine. And so we just got that at the end of the year. And then on the other side of the plasma table there is the Hypertherm 85. That's what we run on the plasma table. But the great thing about these, they're plug and play. And what I mean by that, right there, you can actually just hit this little red button and pull this off. And so now I could actually, if I needed to, if that machine went down, my 85, I could hook this up to my plasma table, set it over there, plug the table torch in, and keep on rolling, and vice versa. If this machine went down and I need to cut out here in the shop, we've got a 50-foot lead I bought. I can plug it into the 85, and I can be out here cutting in 2 minutes. So that's what I love. Hypertherm is great at what they do. They can kind of stay in their lane, and they build great products. Lincoln has some. As you can see, I'm a Lincoln man. I like Miller too. I don't have anything against them. I've just I bought Lincoln from the start, but they started making some plasma cutters, and I've run ESOBs and thermodynamics and stuff, and nothing bad about them. I feel like if you want top of the line, Hypertherm is where it's at. So you've already seen the Evolution saw. We just did a video on that, and right behind it is our JD Squared. We've also done a video on this when we bought it. This is a 5x10 with the stainless water table. And like I said, it's got the Hypertherm 85 Power Max on it. Great machine. I actually just cut those. I've got a guy coming to pick those up in a little bit. Some aluminum stencils. He does window tinting. I have no idea what he's going to use them for, but he's been asking me for a while if I could cut them. So I was like, sure. So cut a big arch piece. I think he uses that for that long piece. It's like 64 inches by 6. It's got an arch in it. I think he uses that for doing the visor piece on the windshields, if I'm not mistaken. And then I cut out 3 circles. They're different sizes, 6, 7, and 8 inches. And I'm gonna ask him when he picks them up, because I have no idea. I'm curious what he uses them for. But so moving on over here, we've got our wood stove. Sometimes I wish I just had a gas unit up on the wall that I could hit the button. I'm not against work. I love a wood stove, the heat it puts off. I love splitting wood and stacking wood at the house, and not that that's a problem. It takes a lot of time, and I'm one of those. I like to be very efficient, and I feel like we waste a lot of time getting that going in the morning, keeping it going during the day. And here, now it's freaking starting to warm up a little bit, so you get it going, and then by the time you do that, it's hot, and you're opening the doors at lunchtime. So anyway, panning over here, this is our drop rack, and I'm one of those that if I don't use it, I get rid of it. But what I've started to do is basically anything less than a foot I usually scrap, unless it's a specialty piece or like a thick piece of flat bar or something. Any of like the 1/2 inch tube, 1 inch tube, if it's less than a foot, I scrap it, because we get so much of it repetitively. And then this whole drop rack is just, we have people coming in from time to time. I don't do a lot of walk-in traffic, and honestly, I hope I don't. I don't know. I just try to stay away from it. Most of what we do is on-site work. It's not even in the same town I live in. Probably 90% of our work is out of town, within hour to 2 hours, something like that. If it's further than that, it's something we did a job in South Carolina, Coker University, and we never even went to the job site. We just built the stuff, made all the beams and whatnot, and they had somebody already installing it. So we paid a trucking company to come pick it up on a flatbed and drop it off. And so we do that from time to time. But so that's that. You got the drop rack, and then behind the saw is more drops, just bigger stuff. And then you see over here is our bulk material rack, and then we've got the rollers there. But I will say, don't get hung up on what you're seeing here. This is stuff that I had none of this when I started. I started with a 256 welder. I bought it new after the Ranger GXT. I got that because I started doing some shop work in my parents' garage, and I only had half of the garage. I had literally a 15 by. I had literally a 15 by 20 area in my parents' garage, and they let me use it. Had a welder, a chop saw, and a grinder, and just some hand tools, and that was it. Just doing basic stuff. I think I've shared in videos before how I kind of started, but that's it. So don't get hung up on what you see here or what other people have. It's very time consuming and takes a while to accumulate this stuff. It's not cheap, but basically you reinvest each year, for the first probably 3 to 5 years is what I would recommend. So this is the Ellis 2000. This was probably the first machine I bought when I moved into the shop, and the reason I bought it is because I got a job local at a scrap yard building some big I-beam frames, and it was like 10 to 12 inch I-beam, and so I bought the 2000 and absolutely love it. A lot of people don't like these because they're not water cooled, but I'll put them up against any water cooled machine of this size. They just, I don't know how they do it, but they are very popular. I know a lot of people that have them, and I wouldn't run anything else. I mean, yeah, I've run some water cooled saws, and eventually I may have a water cooled Kusin or Kosin, however you say it, would be my choice. But that's going to be when I have a lot bigger area and we're cutting, more precise stuff or something. This one's very good. I will say about once a year, there's rollers on there and on the backside, the guide rollers. You do have to replace those. You'll see they'll start getting a groove in the top wheel, and you have to replace them, but they're not much. They'll send them directly to you. We actually just replaced those a couple weeks ago. So that's the LS2000, and I didn't really give prices on this stuff. If you got questions, feel free to ask. I'll be glad to share, kind of what I paid for them. Most of actually everything. Everything is paid for. I don't have any loans on any of this stuff. Some of the stuff I was able to pay cash for right away. Some of the stuff I took a loan out, maybe paid cash or not cash, but paid down on it with a business, and then financed some. The table I did finance, but I paid it off extremely, extremely quick, just because I just prefer to do it that way. But anyway, that's that, and that's about it. I do have 2 milling machines in the back. I got, like I said, a little tool room right through those doors there. You can see my 2 milling machines. It's a little break room with a refrigerator and stuff in there. But that's it. So that's about it. I kind of went through that quick. If you have questions, feel free to ask. That was the big stuff, the stuff that you're probably really interested in seeing how we produce what we do, and that's about it. We've got smaller tools. We've got a Hilti core drill. We've got a whole Hilti bag full of impacts and battery operated drills and so forth. Hilti makes unbelievable products. I wish there was a store closer, but the closest one I think is about an hour and 15 minutes. So I have to go down there if I need anything. But we're there from time to time anyway. But you can order it online. But I'm kind of one of those. Some of that stuff I just like to put my hands on it and see it, talk to the reps, and so forth when I'm buying that stuff. But we've got a bulk storage rack. When I panned over, you probably saw that. That's for flat plate. We usually keep a sheet of 3/16, 3/8, and like a 14/16 gauge. I don't keep much. I do have some drop pieces of aluminum, some weird mesh, stainless, but I don't usually keep drops of that because I just don't have the room for it. And so I kind of have to. I'm a minimalist. I kind of try to be efficient and very lean and make do on what we can because of the room. I can tell you I've rearranged this shop about 15 times. I go through spells where I just kind of move it around trying to work things better, and actually we just moved it a few months ago to where it is now, so kind of like it where it's at, and that's about it. So you saw pretty much the bulk of everything, and like I said, I'm always willing to answer questions. I'll tell you kind of prices. Some of the stuff I may have to look up. I can't even remember what I paid, but most of it I can remember off the top of my head what are pretty good ballpark of what I paid for it. So hope that's what you wanted. Like I said, I was planning on this, and somebody actually just asked in one of the other videos the other day if I could do a shop tour. So that's it. I've got a tool room back there. It's where we keep all our other stuff, the Hilti and so forth. And I'm looking around to see if there's anything else you may want to see, but it's just other random stuff. And we got tools on the wall for digging holes, putting in posts and stuff for bollards or handrails. We do have a power auger. It's got like a 6-inch bit, and I've got post hole diggers and shovels, ladders. Keep ladder on the ladder rack on the truck, 24-foot extension ladder, and then that's about it. There you go. So I really appreciate. We actually just hit 3,000 subscribers, and it's unbelievable because I was literally like just talking about we hit 100, and I was telling my wife how excited I was. And I try to answer all of the questions and comments. I know at some point it's probably going to get really busy eventually as we grow, or hopefully we will. And I don't know if I'll be able to answer them, but I try to respond. I have a lot of people reach out on Instagram, people that are new to the business, young guys that are getting into it, welding classes, and wanting to start their own business. And we, like I said, I try my best to answer those questions. and give a thorough answer, not just a quick, get out of my way. I really try to help people out. That's why I'm doing these videos. I started this a couple years ago when I started doing stair stringers. I had no idea how to do them, and most of what I learn, of what I know, is self-taught. I've worked at some fab shops, a machine shop, doing some specialty welding stuff years and years ago, and built armored trucks, and but 90% of what I know, I've just self-taught. And so I went to YouTube, and I was like, man, let me see if there's something on YouTube. Well, there's a lot of wood stair stringers, but nothing for metal. And so I did a video on those, and we started making them, and I got to where I was comfortable and confident in them, and we've gotten really good and efficient at them now. And so I posted some videos, and that's probably some of the best videos we've had. They've got more views than anything. But that's kind of what started it, and that's where I'm at now, and just trying to help people out. It's something I enjoy. I enjoy teaching, educating people, and not everybody's going to like this channel, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to agree with what I say. That's okay. If I build a handrail, there's 10 different ways to build that handrail, and somebody here is going to say, I did it wrong, I didn't do it the way that they did it. That's just, we do things the way we think we're most efficient. We've gotten very good at certain things we may need to work on, and I'm one of those that I love to learn. So just because I'm the owner doesn't mean I'm the best. People that come in here and work for me, they teach me stuff all the time. If it's a better way to do things and we make more money and we can be more efficient, that means they make more money. I'm all about it. So hope you guys enjoy this stuff, and if you do, subscribe, like it, share it, and reach out to me. And like I said, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. More active on the Instagram stuff, but like I said, I'll definitely be willing to have a conversation, message back and forth if you got any questions. So hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.